Hey guys, what's going on? So we got week 6 is now in the books here in Ohio for the Ohio High School Football Association. Um, Leading into the playoffs, I'm working on Region 13 again this morning. I've just about got Region 5 done as well, so we should have a nice video and the spreadsheet, and I'm not sure about a write-up yet for Region 5, if I'm going to be able to get to that this week, but we're going to give it a shot. So, with that in mind, like I said, here we are working on Region 13 again, and we will start at the bottom again, the same way we've done for the last few weeks, in the minimum amount of points they can get if they win out. Actually, you know what? Let's change that up this week. We're going to go with the minimum amount of points they can get no matter what. So this will be, even if they lose out, the amount of points they can still get in the harbin points. And that way it kind of works up from the weakest to the strongest. We can talk about the top 3 ranked teams, that the worst, they've already guaranteed themselves positions. The worst they can finish will not be last in the region, obviously, even if every other team would win out and get their max points. So let's get started at the bottom. 3 teams tied with 0 points, obviously. None of them have won a game yet, and that's Minerva, Buckeye Local, and Riverview. They are in the positions that even if they would win out, get the most amount of points they could possibly get, Riverview could possibly move up to 3rd. The other 2 teams could move up to 4th. So next week, just by virtue of a couple other teams winning some football games, that's basically it's definitely going to eliminate them from being able to host a playoff game, but realistically, they should be out of contention to make the playoffs as well. Like I said, mathematically, it's still a possibility, but realistically, it is not. So above those 3 that have not won a game yet, we've got John Glenn, who is guaranteed 0.55 points. They could get up to 16.15 points. So right now, John Glenn, if they win out, they could still finish as high as 1st. Best they can finish if they lose out, 17th, and they could still, fade as cleared to 28th in the region, regardless of whether they win or lose out. Above them, Yorksville Claymont. Yorksville Claymont is guaranteed a minimum of 0.7 points. That puts them in 24th place in this ranking. They're in a must-win situation, just like most of these other teams for the playoffs. And they have a maximum amount of points of 15.7 points. Above Yorksville Claymont is Amanda Clear Creek in 23rd with 0.9 points guaranteed. They could get to as high as 17.65 points. Also in a must-win situation going into the final 4 weeks. In 22nd is East Liverpool with 0.97 points. They could get as high as 16.14 points. And they obviously are also in a must-win situation. Above East Liverpool is Ontario. Ontario is guaranteed 1.1 points. They have a max of 13.95 points, which means that they could finish no higher than 3rd in the region, as Steubenville and Johnstown are both guaranteed to finish with more points than that already. Above Ontario, we've got Lakewood with 1.46 points, with a maximum of 20.15 points. They could still go all the way to the top, but realistically, that's not going to happen. Above Lakewood, you have Lisbon Beaver. They have 1.92 guaranteed points. They have a maximum of 14.58 points, which means that they would not be able to catch Johnstown regardless. So they are at best looking at a second place finish. Above Beaver is Canton South with 2.1 guaranteed points. They can get to 20.05 points. So they still, if they win out, they could still push, definitely make a playoff push. Above Canton South, New Lex with 2.25 guaranteed points. They have a maximum of 15.85 points. So they are definitely in the position that they are just about going to be eliminated. Probably one more week is all it'll take, and they will be eliminated from the playoff hunt. Well, that's probably not true, because actually looking at the rest of the region, other than the top 3 teams, the rest of the region doesn't have a lot of guaranteed points. So they may still be able to finish, somewhere in that 4th to 8th round, or 4th to 8th range. But the top 3 teams are pretty much, it's going to be pretty difficult for anybody to catch them. So above New Lex, we've got Philo with 2.5 guaranteed points and a maximum of 18.6 points. That could still push them up into the playoffs, but I find that unlikely as well. Above Philo, we have Shelby with 3.7 guaranteed points, a maximum of 20.3 points, and if they win out, they would guarantee themselves no worse than a 25th place finish. And the best they could finish if they lose out would be 5th place. So they are now in a must-win situation, at least for a home game. And then the last team that is in a must-win situation for any kind of position, I guess, is Fairfield Union with 3.95 guaranteed points. They could get to 21.15 points. They're in a must-win for the home game status, and they would finish no worse than 24th if they win out. Above Fairfield Union is Canal Fulton Northwest with 4.18 guaranteed minimum points. They have a maximum total points of 24.05. Obviously, like I said, now they could still finish any position without winning a game mathematically, but technically they're definitely going to have to win a game to make the playoffs. And they would finish anywhere from 1st to 28th in the region still. Above Northwest is Heath in 12th with 4.82 points, a maximum of 22.89 points, and they could finish no worse than 24th if they win out. Above Heath is Cambridge. Cambridge has 5.4 guaranteed points. They are 11th in this ranking. A maximum available of 26.05 points. And they would finish no worse than 17th if they win out. That's where you're starting to get to some of the teams. If they just continue to win, it's going to be, they're going to put themselves in the driver's seat for a playoff berth. So let's go up above Cambridge and look at 10th place in this rank is Byesville Meadowbrook with 6.488 points. They have a maximum of 27.73 points. Obviously, they can still finish anywhere, but if they win out, they're guaranteed no worse than 24th place. Again, Meadowbrook is going to be fighting for that last playoff spot, just due to the fact that they play so many small schools, and they play a lot of teams that don't get a lot of wins. So above Meadowbrook in ninth place in this ranking is Licking Valley with 6.49 points. Obviously, they're basically the exact same as Meadowbrook. They do have a maximum available points of 31.62. And a guaranteed minimum if they win out of 21.72 points. So if they win out, they would be guaranteed to finish no worse than 12th place in the region. That's definitely going to be a tough task for them as they face basically the four best teams in Licking County in the next 4 weeks. So a lot of points available, but they may not get too many more points either. So above them in 8th place with guaranteed minimum points is Indian Creek with 6.64 points. They have a max of 20.78 points, and they would finish no worse than 21st if they would win out. So in 7th place, we've got Indian Valley with 7.15 guaranteed points. They have a maximum available of 23.4 points, and they would finish no worse than 22nd if they would win out, as their minimum guaranteed if they win out is 15.85 points. I apologize for the coughing. My allergies are driving me nuts this week. Above Indian Valley is Bloom Carroll in 6th with 7.8 guaranteed points. 25.65 maximum available points. And their 19.45 guaranteed minimum points if they win out would put them at worst 17th in the region if they win out. Above Bloom Carroll is Maysville with 8 guaranteed points, and that's good for 5th. They have 22.9 maximum available points, and 16.7 would be their guaranteed points if they win out, which puts them no worse than 19th in the region. Above Maysville, we're at the final four now. We're at the definitely the 4 teams that have proven the most thus far. Salem is guaranteed a minimum of 9.3 points. They have a maximum available of 28 points, and their guaranteed minimum if they win out is 22.45, which would guarantee them no worse than 12th place in the region. Above Salem is St. Clairsville with 13.01 points guaranteed. 35.01 points is their maximum if they win out. And they have a guaranteed minimum if they win out of 22.45 points. So they would finish no worse than 12th if they win out. And they have already locked up 26th place as their worst possible finish, even if they lose out and everybody wins out. But we know that is not going to happen. So that number is going to continue to tick up over the next few weeks, especially next week if they win. It's going to jump up pretty high. So my guess is you'll see probably Johnstown, Steubenville, and St. Clairsville all lock up playoff positions next week. And then probably the following week, the 3 of them lock up home field advantage for a home game for the first week. And then, then it'll just be a matter of which one ends up as the number 1 seed. And then the rest of the region battling for those other 5 spots. So above St. Clairsville is Steubenville with 13.95 guaranteed points. They still have the highest maximum available with 42.37 points, and their guaranteed minimum if they win out is 22.78. Again, they would finish no worse than 12th if they win out. They're already guaranteed at worst 24th place in the region, and are definitely in the driver's seat. Them and Johnstown are definitely in the driver's seat to lock up this region pretty quickly. So, and then as the other team that we just mentioned, Johnstown has a guaranteed minimum of 15.02 points, which realistically is probably enough to already guarantee them a playoff spot. They could probably lose the next 4 weeks and still make the playoffs. So, just based on the amount of computer points that this region has scored and what has been historically a top 8 points season. So they're guaranteed minimum points if they win out of 26.82 points. Puts them in a position to control their own destiny now mathematically, as well as logically or realistically. They're going to finish no worse than 6th if they win out, and their maximum available points of 36.72 points obviously is second only to Steubenville. And if they lose out, they would finish no worse than 23rd in the region. So that locks up or wraps up Week 6 review of Region 13. I will get my spreadsheet out on the Google Docs server here shortly. Get it posted, put this up on YouTube, and link everything from Yappy and JJ Huddle. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, find the YouTube video, leave me a message there, leave me messages on JJ Huddle, Yappy, either one, and I will do my best to answer any questions you guys have. So thanks for listening, and get ready for Week 7.